The crescent moon in your palm reveals these 10. There are signs the universe sends, not to be decoded with the eyes, but with silence. The crescent moon, soft, incomplete, yet radiant, appears not in the sky tonight, but in your own palm, a whisper from the unseen world, reminding you something is about to shift, not outside, within. 2025 is not just another year, it is an invitation to awaken, to let go, to become. The crescent moon, in all its quiet elegance, holds meaning far beyond its simple shape. It is not full, not yet. It is not empty either. It is a moment between darkness and light, between hiding and becoming. That sliver of silver light against the vastness of the night sky is not a weakness. It is a whisper of transformation, a sign of quiet power. When we imagine the crescent moon resting in the palm of our hand, we are not just picturing light. We are holding possibility. The moon does not rush to be full. It does not panic in its phases. It teaches us the beauty of the process. It shows us that growth is not loud or instant. It is silent, often unseen. But it is always unfolding. That gentle arc of light reminds us that potential is not about being everything at once. It is about becoming. Just like the moon, we too pass through phases, moments of darkness, times of half clarity and brief glimmers of light. And just like the moon, we shine most not when we are complete, but when we are true to our phase. To hold the crescent moon in your palm is to accept your current state, not to judge it, not to force yourself to be what you're not ready to be. It's to recognize that even in your becoming, you are beautiful. Even in your not yet there, you are meaningful. There is strength in that softness. The crescent moon is not aggressive. It does not scream for attention. It simply hangs in the sky, quiet and sure. It reflects just enough light to be noticed, to guide a path, but never enough to overwhelm. It is presence without force, strength without violence. That is the power of quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't seek approval because it already knows its place in the sky. In spiritual traditions across the world, the moon is often associated with intuition, inner wisdom, and feminine energy. The crescent form especially is a symbol of birth, regeneration, and deep insight. It is the moon's promise that darkness is never final, that light always returns, and more importantly, that even in shadow there is purpose. When you see the crescent moon in your hand, you are being asked to trust your inner knowing. Not every truth will be loud. Not every answer will be immediate. Some wisdom arrives in stillness, in the quiet curve of silence. The moon speaks through the subtle, the way your breath calms when you let go of control, the way your heart softens when you accept your wounds as part of your path. This symbol of the crescent moon invites you to stop chasing and start receiving, to stop proving and start becoming. You don't need to light up the whole world to matter. Sometimes lighting up one step ahead of you is enough. Sometimes being a small source of comfort in a sea of confusion is the greatest power of all. The moon doesn't compete with the stars. It doesn't compare itself to the sun. It follows its own rhythm. And that is a message you must take into 2025. To know your rhythm. To not be shaken by others' pace. To honor your timing. The world may demand urgency, but growth is slow. Healing is quiet. Becoming takes time. Visualizing this symbol in your hand gives you ownership. It means you no longer look outside yourself for signs. You begin to trust that what you need is already within. that the guidance you seek is not out there in someone else's voice or someone else's path, but inside your chest, where the soul speaks without words. In your hardest moments, the crescent moon reminds you, this is not the end. This is just a phase. And phases pass. In your greatest doubt, it whispers, even now you are growing. You cannot always see it, but growth is not always visible to the eye. It often happens in silence, in darkness, beneath the surface. When you hold the crescent moon in your palm, you are holding faith, not the kind that denies difficulty, but the kind that walks through it with open eyes. The kind that says, I don't have to be whole to be worthy. I don't have to be finished to be enough. It is a call to gentleness, to grace, to allow yourself to evolve without shame, to honor your slow rise instead of rushing toward perfection. The world will always try to measure you by how bright you shine, but the moon knows better. The moon knows the value of phases, the beauty of half-light, the courage of showing up, even when you're not complete. So in this coming year, whenever you feel lost, remember that small curve of light. Close your eyes and picture it resting gently in your hand. Feel its cool glow. Remind you that your journey matters, that your becoming is sacred, that your softness is strength. The crescent moon does not need to roar. Its silence is powerful enough to move tides, and so are you. 2025 is not just another chapter in the calendar. It is the beginning of an awakening, subtle for some, sudden for others, but inevitable for all who have begun to feel the quiet inner pull. That pull isn't loud, it's not a shout, it's a whisper behind your thoughts, gently guiding you back to yourself. And for the first time, you might actually listen. This year is not about finding something new out there, it's about finally noticing what has always been within. In a world that's trained you to look outward, to chase approval, to seek validation, to mirror others, the greatest revolution will be learning to trust your own voice again. That is the awakening. It's not dramatic or wild, it's not chaos, it's clarity, a soft light cutting through years of noise. The moment you begin to trust yourself is the moment everything begins to shift. You stop overthinking every move. You stop apologizing for your boundaries. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And for the first time, you stand tall, not because the world gave you permission, but because you finally gave it to yourself. Transformation doesn't begin when life gets easier. It begins when you stop waiting for it to get easier and decide to meet yourself as you are. The real journey is not upward or outward. It is inward. And the moment you take that first conscious breath, aware of your body, your thoughts, your heartbeat, that is the moment the awakening begins. Picture night slowly turning into day. The way the sky doesn't argue with the darkness, but gently rises above it, that's what your awakening will feel like. Not an escape from the dark, but a rising above it, a choice to return to the light. Not because the dark isn't real, but because the light was always yours to come home to. A blooming lotus does not fight the mud, it grows through it. It opens because the time is right, not because someone told it to. So too will you bloom when you are ready, when your soul knows the mud was part of the path, not a punishment. The mud was never the end, it was always the beginning. In the stillness of 2025, many will feel lost because they're addicted to movement, but your growth this year will not come from doing more, it will come from being more, from sitting with yourself long enough to recognize what parts of you are no longer yours to carry. The fears that were inherited, the beliefs that were borrowed, the guilt that was never yours. Stillness is not stagnation, It is listening. It is being prepared. It is power gathering itself in silence. Like the archer pulling back the bow, this year asks you to trust the tension. Trust the pull. Trust that stillness is not emptiness. It is direction in disguise. There will be moments where you question everything, moments that strip away who you thought you were. Don't run from them. These are sacred. These are the unravelings before the becoming. When you feel like you're falling apart, what's actually happening is that the mask is falling away. The real you is finally coming through. 2025 calls for alignment, not with trends, not with noise, but with truth. Your truth, the one that cannot be copied, the one that lives beneath the surface. And when you begin to move from that place, life no longer feels like a performance. It becomes presence. There is a version of you that already knows how to live with freedom, that knows peace is not the absence of struggle, but the choice to stop struggling against yourself. That version is already awake. All you have to do now is remember, and you will. In small moments first, like choosing silence over a reaction, like breathing through discomfort instead of running, like walking away from what drains you, even when it's familiar, like looking in the mirror and not needing to fix anything. These are the awakenings that change lives.
You may not notice the shift right away, but others will. You'll see it in your eyes, in the way you carry yourself, in the calm that can't be faked, and some will leave. Let them. Your awakening will disturb the sleep of those who benefit from your silence.
This year, you will learn that trust is not built in what you achieve, but in how you respond to what you cannot control. You will stop waiting for a perfect plan and start walking with imperfect faith. You will finally let go of needing all the answers before taking the first step, because something inside you knows now, not with your mind, but with your spirit. You know that no one is coming to save you. You know that the path forward has been under your feet the whole time. You just needed to stop running in circles long enough to see it. So let the night fall, let the stillness come, let the lotus bloom slowly, let the breath deepen, because this is how it begins. The transformation won't always be loud, but it will be true. And when the noise fades and the masks fall and you are left with nothing but yourself, you'll smile, because you'll know that's all you ever needed. You were never broken. You were just asleep. And now you are waking up. There comes a moment in every journey when the noise outside becomes too much. The opinions, the comparisons, the expectations, they begin to blur into a hum that drowns out your own voice. And in that moment, you no longer crave achievement or applause. You crave silence. You crave peace. Not as a place you visit, but as a state you live in. This is what 2025 is calling for. Not more noise, but more stillness. Not more chasing, but more becoming. The path is not outward anymore. It is inward. And when you close your eyes and return to your breath, something begins to shift. You begin to see clearly, not because life changed, but because you changed the way you look. Inner peace is not something granted. It is something remembered. You don't earn it by doing more. You unlock it by doing less, by releasing the grip, the tension, the constant striving. When you finally let go of needing to prove your worth, you begin to feel your worth in the stillness. The world will always reward the loudest voices, but your soul doesn't respond to noise. It responds to truth. It responds to quiet. It responds to presence. That's why in the quiet moments, you feel most alive. That's why the deep breath you take after a long day feels like medicine. That's why nature untouched by performance, feels like home. Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of alignment. It's when your actions, thoughts, and energy are no longer at war with each other. It's when you no longer pretend to be who you think you should be, and instead you allow yourself to be who you are. And it doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives in glimpses, in moments where you choose not to react, where you choose to observe, where you choose silence over control, breath over panic, compassion over defensiveness. It arrives when you pause before answering, when you breathe before speaking, when you sit with your feelings rather than escape them. These small choices, made again and again, begin to build a sanctuary within you, a place untouched by the chaos of the outside world. You don't need more answers. You need more quiet, because the answers are already inside you, but they only whisper, and to hear them, you must be still. Stillness is not weakness. It is power held with grace. It is presence without performance. It is a strength that does not need to shout. In the stillness, you see who you really are, not who the world told you to be. You begin to realize that your worth was never in your results. It was always in your being, that your value was never based on doing more. It was in the quiet confidence of being enough, exactly as you are. Becoming your own light is not about shining the brightest. It's about becoming steady, calm, anchored. So when the storms of life rise, and they will, you no longer get swept away. You remain grounded. Not because you control the storm, but because you've mastered your breath within it. The breath is the doorway. Every inhale is a return to now. Every exhale is a release of what you were never meant to carry. And in that rhythm, you remember peace was never somewhere else. It was always inside you. Let your breath guide you back. Inhale deeply. Feel your chest rise, your belly expand, hold, then exhale. Slowly, fully, let go. Again and again. This is how you reclaim yourself, one conscious breath at a time. In 2025, you don't need to become louder. You need to become more aware, more deliberate, more whole. And wholeness comes from rest, not rush, from reflection, not reaction. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to not have the answers. This isn't a weakness. This is wisdom. The moon doesn't rush to fullness. The seasons don't bloom all at once. Nature moves with calm cycles, and so should you. Let yourself move gently this year. Speak softer to yourself. Sit in stillness without shame. Not every moment needs to be filled. Not every silence needs to be broken. Some of the deepest healing happens in those quiet spaces where nothing is said but everything is understood. Use soft light, not to dim your power, but to reveal the beauty of it. Use music, not to distract the mind, but to calm the heart. Let visuals be slow, gentle, breath-focused. Let them mirror your soul in its natural, unhurried rhythm. Let the visuals show still hands, closed eyes, the slow unfurling of a flower, the ripple of calm water, the breath that moves through you like wind through trees. This is how you become your own light, not by shining for others, but by glowing from within, quietly, consistently, without permission. You do not need to wait for peace to come. It is already here, waiting for you to return. You are not lost. You are just distracted, and every breath brings you closer to remembering. So inhale, exhale, let go. You are safe. You are here. You are light. Letting go is one of the most difficult and yet most liberating acts a human can perform. It is not a single moment, but a series of silent decisions made in the heart long before they show in action. It is not dramatic. It does not always come with closure. Sometimes it comes in the quietest form, just a breath, a realization,